I'm glad that we're below 54 today because it's pretty cold upstairs. We're waiting for our table mates, Bill BOGGS and Jane Rothschild. And Bill, one of the great interviewers in television, and we're hoping we could impose upon him and use his great skills to talk to some of the very interesting people in the audience today. But it's going to be hot here soon because Mark Nadler is going to be performing and KT Sullivan is going to be performing together.
You want to put that on video?
This is the way KT looks before a show.
Yes.
But you still have the hat, though. That's really, you know.
It's a fascinator.
Well, see, they dress after the show.
That's
The
true.
skivvies need their dressing room to dress after the show. Get out of their skivvies.
Well, we'll see you down there.
See you down there, Steve.
We're here with Tom Vertel, one of the owners of the great nightclub 54 Below, now in its second year. Congratulations on, I think, an aesthetic effort that has impressed anyone who's come into the room, whether it's a native New Yorker or an out-of-town person.
Well, thank you. We feel like we've made a lot of friends. You know, over the year and a half we've been open, I think we occupy a special spot in New York nightlife, and over that time, a lot of people have really embraced what we have been trying to do.
How would you identify what you've just quoted as a special spot?
Well, we think of it as Broadway's supper club. And we set out to do all the different elements of a club like this really right. And, you know, it's taken a lot of people and a lot of teamwork to get us there. The room is designed by a Tony Award-winning set designer, John Lee Beatty, who really designed a kind of storybook world, I think. We all feel like we're walking into a place that's a little bit unreal every time we come here.
Well, also, I think the heritage of the room being the infamous basement of Studio 54, which, by the way, I survived. I was at Studio 54 on both opening night and closing night.
And here you are,
yes,
nevertheless.
Steve was on my show many times. But anyway, as you look to the future, are there names you'd like to bring in? Are there people, you know, everybody has a wish list of guests or stars.
It's endless, really. And the exciting thing is that sometimes people will drop in, quite well-known people will drop in just to look at it and to spend an evening here, and several of them have actually been inspired to create shows for 54 Below. Victor Garber, for example, comes to mind, a person who never did cabaret before, but he was really excited by this. And there have been several of those. It's been very interesting to see people like Norbert Leo Butz, who's a very well-known Broadway performer, really embrace this. It also gives a lot of them a chance to do music of a sort that isn't Broadway. So a number of them have come in and done shows about the music that influenced them growing up. Sherry Renee Scott and Melissa Errico and Norbert have all done shows that have, some of them have some Broadway in them, but a lot of them had to do with the music they were listening to when they formed their own musical tastes.
Well, one of the things I like about 54 Below is it's an accessible nightclub. I mean, back in the day, you know, you had that maitre d' at the door. It was hard to get in, pushing for reservations, had to know somebody, had to sip somebody money. But I have found, as my friends have found, that this is an accessible club. It's not something to be intimidated by, not thinking, am I going to get in? Just someone actually answers the phone when you call. You don't have an animated, punch a lot of number voices, you get somebody right away. I like that.
Well, I think that was one of the other things we wanted to do. We wanted to make it kind of a clubhouse for people who love Broadway and not be too formal and not be too sort of distant from from the people who come here. And we've made a lot of friends. I mean, there's a lot of people who come into this room who we've become personal friends with as a result. People come back over and over.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but stream of consciousness, one moment from the past year and several months that made you go, wow, look what we did. Just one moment, one singer, one act, one thing.
I wish I could answer that question with a straight face. There have been so many of them. I mean, Patti LuPone opened for us and has been here 4 times now. She is beyond thrilling every time she's...
I think of Patti LuPone as the godmother of the room.
Well, she is. We had several inspirations for the room. We'd all produced Broadway shows for many, many years. Part of the reason why we decided to do this was the frustration of only being able to work with some of the people that we felt really close to very occasionally, because Broadway shows are so hard to produce. They don't come along every day. So Patti was certainly an inspiration. We've done Sweeney Todd with her and Gypsy. Laura Benanti was another inspiration. We had started with her in The Sound of Music and then done Swing and Gypsy as well. But we had so many people over such a long period of time that we felt like we really wanted to be able to see way more often than being on Broadway.
I want to close this out by commending you on one thing, and that is risk. I think that a lot of people said, "Oh, how can they do this? Open a nightclub? It's not going to work." I heard a lot of naysayers, but the real successes in life come from people who put their money on the line, put their dreams on the line, and take a risk. And I think that you deserve a huge credit for doing that.
Well, thank you. All those people are probably right, but we've been taking risks all this time, and I think it's just the life we chose, you know.
And by the way, no risk with the show tonight. Katie Sullivan and Mark Nadler doing Cole Porter.
Totally sold out, completely thrilling. Two of my favorite performers. I can't wait for tonight's show.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for talking.
Pleasure to meet you too. Thank you so much.